like you just message people on Instagram, but you don't think like, oh, I'm gonna be in her wedding.
You can have soulmate friendships, like those are the best kinds. And so when you date for a short amount of time and you get married really quick, like, yes, you're attracted to those qualities because those are the qualities of Jesus that they're projecting.
Right.
But if you don't know that person, really, really know that person, the good and the bad, I think, too, no one talked about what to do after you get divorced in a Christian marriage. Like, no one talks about that.
Where I stood with you in the night.
All right, you ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Gabrielle, and today I have my best friend Jerica here with me, and I thought it would be super fun to do like a girly Q&A video / rant / advice, because I love watching videos like that and just hearing what the heck people have to say, how they met, and stuff like that. So thanks for being here.
I don't know, you just sound so professional, and so I just keep going.
Is it focused? Okay, sorry I touched your foot.
Anyway.
Also sponsored.
Happy. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. I thought it would be super fun to just start off and talk about how we met, how we even got connected, why did we choose to hang out?
Yeah, it's so cool because there's so many like
random
connections
coincidences. Okay, so what is your perspective on how we met / what was your first impression when we did meet in person? I'm curious to know.
I don't know what the group was called, but it was like a Facebook group for Liberty.
Like
yeah, I was like scrolling through like, oh, okay, they like anime. Ugh. Like, you know, just like, I don't know. Trying to find
for, like,
someone.
a common interest.
Yeah, a common interest. So I scrolled on yours and like, I was like, oh, she's so pretty. Like, oh, she leads worship. She loves Taylor Swift.
I'm gonna cry.
She loves, wait, did I already say thrifting? Thrifting.
No.
And there were just like so many things. I was like, oh my gosh, is this my twin? Like, this is, she loves all the things I love. So I think we had been messaging or following each other for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I moved, I was like, let's go get coffee. Like, let's hang out. And we went to what? We went downtown.
I don't
And
remember.
we did a photo shoot.
We said full send.
Yeah. I remember because I was on that bridge, like, you know? Yeah.
It's very 2018.
Yeah. Which that was another thing on your thing. You said you liked photography, photo shoot stuff.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Like I feel like we instantly clicked. I like told you like the drama that was going on in my life at the time.
Yeah.
I went to a Christian high school and I had really great friends there, but growing up we moved schools like every 2 years. So like I didn't have any like long lasting friendships. You know, not a lot of friends that had common interests with me, which I think was really great about Liberty. There were so many people there. It was like God sent. Yeah. You were God sent.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna cry.
Okay, you tell me your
okay. So I remember being in that group, and I remember, this is so random, but she had posted about her townhouse, like needing someone to live there, and I was like, dang it, like I already am living somewhere. But I sent the screenshot to my mom. I was like, Mom, this townhouse is so cute. This girl seems really nice. Like, should I do this instead?
Oh, I wish you would.
I know. And so, but I think it was like a little bit over my budget or something. I can't remember. And so fast forward, I think you messaged me on Facebook or something, and you were like, I can't remember what it was, but you were like, let's follow each other on Instagram. So I was like, okay. So we followed each other, and every time she would post something like about Taylor Swift or thrifting or whatever, and vice versa, like we would message each other, and I was like, oh, this is so cute, but like, I don't know, we probably won't be friends or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you just message people on Instagram, but you don't think like, oh, I'm gonna be in her wedding. So then like that August in 2018, I can't remember if it was me or you, were like, we should just get coffee.
Yeah.
So we finally like scheduled it at the beginning of the school year, and we went, and I don't remember.
Like, right. Like a couple days before classes started.
Yes, yeah. And I literally have no idea what coffee shop we actually went to.
I think we went to Dublin 3.
Really? I loved that coffee shop.
Is it still there?
No, they closed a couple years ago.
Oh.
I know. I think they closed because of COVID. It's really sad.
I loved their
That was
chai
my
tea.
favorite one. Yeah. So anyway, we hung out. We had a full-blown photo shoot. I was wearing like a green cargo jacket. It was really ugly.
No, but at the time it was cute.
It was the vibe at the time. Yeah. I feel like we just like really clicked. And I relate to what you're saying because I had a lot of friends in high school who I really loved and connected with. Up until that point, I don't think I really had friends who like loved Taylor Swift, and that was a big thing.
I feel like I was always made fun of for it.
I was too.
And people were like, "Oh, I don't like her. Like, she's a bad singer. I don't get."
Oh, she writes songs about her exes every 2 minutes.
And I have been obsessed with her since I was like in the 3rd or 4th grade, and no one ever liked her to that level, literally until now.
Yes.
So that's a whole other topic.
And that was like a huge factor as to why I was like, oh my God, like she understands my brain about this because other people were so rude.
Yeah.
And so, the thrifting and just also the fact that you seem to like have like a strong relationship with God. I really admired that.
And we both came from Assembly of God churches, which is another thing.
Yes. So there was like thing after thing after thing. So I was like, but I remember like having a lot of fun that day and feeling like, okay, we're going to be really good friends.
I remember walking up that really, really steep hill telling you like, and my old roommate, and all the drama like that.
Oh my gosh.
Literally the couple months leading up to going to Liberty was probably one of the hardest seasons of life I had been in at that point in my life. You know, there have been worse times, but you were just like listening and giving advice, and I was like, okay, and I feel like we were pretty inseparable since that moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we would go back to your apartment after class and take naps in your room. Before, like, going to choir practice or something.
Yeah, we I don't know that we had, like, a ton of, like, overlapping classes, but, like, every time there was choir or, like, a rehearsal or something, we're like, where are you? Are you going?
You helped me with my music theory homework.
Gosh.
And,
that's a miracle in and of itself because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it was either you or Ross.
Yeah.
That would help me.
Shout out.
Yeah.
I think what I'll say is, like, you have friends, you know, that can either be in your life, like, for a season or a long time or whatever it may be, but then there's, like, a few friends, like, maybe 2 or 3. I feel like over the course of your life that, like, at least for me, that you have, like, a soul connection with, that you understand multiple things about that person because you're so similar. And obviously we're different in some ways, but that's how I felt. I was like, oh, this is like a soul connection, like friend, like a sisterhood kind of thing.
I know. When I say you're my soulmate, or like I say that on Instagram or whatever, people are like, oh my gosh, is she a lesbian? And I'm like, no. You can have soulmate friendships. Like, those are the best kinds of soulmates.
I 100% agree with that. And I feel like you're one of the few people that I've been able to find that with. So I really appreciate that.
Cheers.
Anyways, like, we're 25 now, okay? So we met when we were 20? I think you had just turned 20.
Okay.
If you could go back in time to, like, Jerica fresh out of high school, what is, like, 1 or 2 pieces of advice just about life or your relationship with God or anything that you would maybe give that person?
Well, there has been a lot of life that has happened. The number one thing I would have told myself is, like, your worth does not come from romantic relationships. I was so wrapped up in my after high school relationship and, you know, my college relationship, and I even, like, dropped out of college to get married to said relationship man.
Relationship man.
But anyways, I would have just told myself, hey, this is the time where you're going to have responsibilities and the real world is going to catch up to you so fast. Like, relationships are not what matters right now, or romantic ones. Like friendships do. Like I would have thrown away a lot of the things I did for the survival of that relationship had I known the outcome now, and it just would have, like, I just have a lot of perspective now.
Yeah.
And as Christians, like, you hear, get married young, like, that's a really good thing, or, you know, ring by spring at Liberty. And you gotta live life a little bit. You gotta just, like, you know, experience what the real world is like before you, like, get married. Before you, like, commit to something so big. You don't know yourself yet. You're still, like, navigating, like, what adult life is like, you know, when you're right out of high school.
That was really powerful, and I think, like, a lot more people need to hear that, myself included at that age, because I was always, like, obsessed in high school especially, and into college with my relationship and the outcome of that relationship, and, like, almost to the point of, like, I mean, I loved my friendships and I valued them, but honestly, like, above that, because
Me too.
I thought that, like, my worth and my outcome in life was, like, riding on that. I don't know how to explain that.
I always put my romantic relationships over my friends, or, like, even sometimes my family, which is, like, I have learned so much since then.
Do you feel like a block of maturity has hit you in the head since you turned 25?
I think a block of maturity hit when I was going through my divorce as a single mom. I think that's when I just, like, had to grow up so fast, and like I had to provide and work really hard, and I couldn't be a young adult anymore. Like I had to be, like, a mature adult, because I was responsible for another human's life at that point. It felt like a tsunami wave crashing into me, and I was really shell-shocked by, like, the reality of, like, being an adult. And then since then, I feel like now that I have stability, I can enjoy life a little bit more now. I mean, it's still,
As
like,
you should.
I still have a lot of responsibilities, obviously, but like,
it's different.
I can, like, enjoy the simple things about being a mom and not have to be so stressed about, like, how am I gonna pay rent? Like, you know, all the things.
No one should feel that way.
Yeah.
But it happens.
So when you were talking about how you would get, like, obsessed with these relationships and the outcomes, I was the same way, and I think a lot of that stems from, like, a rejection wound, or having CPTSD, or, you know, so you become, like, really unhealthily attached to the person you're with. My worth was so wrapped up in this relationship, because if it were to fail,
it was like a detriment on your character.
Yes, like, and even, like, the hit of rejection made me feel so low every time it happened. Actually made it so hard. You know, after I went through my divorce, I was determined, like, I was not gonna leave. He had to be the one to leave, even though I was being abused, not physically, but just emotionally and verbally. But I was like, I'm not gonna be the one to leave. Like, it just was so,
like, that not in your DNA.
So, like, when he walked out on us, it wasn't that I feel like I had gotten to the point where I wanted it to be over. I was surviving, and it was very painful. It was so much easier after that, because I was like, wow, like, I have been surviving through this, and I didn't have to. I didn't have to put up with this behavior. And I think that's when I started to heal and, like, realize those wounds deep inside of me and started to heal those. It's so funny, because when I started dating Andrew, I just didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know if I was even ready for a relationship. He's such a solid man. I wasn't, like, so wrapped up in, like, the success of the relationship. I was wrapped up in being a good mom and providing for her and having fun in my relationship with him and not putting so much pressure on it. And I feel like that is really why we have such a healthy, good relationship, because there just wasn't any pressure from the beginning.
I feel like a very nuanced topic, and something that you could definitely speak on, is this very toxic culture within Christianity of, as soon as you meet the person, you must marry them. That is the person you're destined to be with. even if you're not compatible. That is part one. And then part two is, I feel like Christians getting a divorce is more common and accepted now, but for a while people were like so shamed about it when they shouldn't have been for legitimate biblical reasons.
Yeah.
So it's like you're shamed into getting married and then you're shamed to not get out of it. And that makes no sense to me.
No, that's how my mom was. You know,
Really?
She married my dad at 20, the same age I got married.
Right.
They dated for like 3 months or something ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
Got engaged, got married like 2 months later. So like very,
So
you know,
that was,
my
like, the norm
timeline
to
was
you.
longer than that,
Right.
but like that was just, you know, how it was. And then my dad was very abusive, narcissistic, all that stuff. I don't know if he still has those tendencies. I haven't spoken to him.
Right.
I am also very glad that my mom got out of it. I really pushed her to. It took her so long, and that's not my story to tell, but I
Right.
will say it influenced my story because I thought, oh, it's super normal to get married, and that's just like the Christian culture where
Right.
they say like you choose love, like you're not in love, you wake up every day and you choose to love this person, like, and yes, I do believe that, but you have to be compatible and
Like not in a toxic way.
no, and this is so controversial in the Christian circle situation, from doing everything the right way, you know, I dated this Christian man who was serving in church and being discipled and in the Word and had a really strong prayer life and all these things. We were being mentored by pastors in the church and went through premarital counseling through the church and all this stuff. And we abstained from sex until our wedding night. You know, we did everything by the book, and I was really proud of it. I was so proud of it, and I truly, truly in my heart believed that God was going to honor that. So it was very world-altering when that was not the case. But I think that when someone is, like, acting like Jesus, like, you know, that's what we're supposed to do as Christians. Right. We're supposed to be little Christ. So... but like that is so attractive. And so when you date for a short amount of time and you get married really quick, like, yes, you're attracted to those qualities because those are the qualities of Jesus that they're projecting. Right. But if you don't know that person, really, really know that person, the good and the bad, and love even the bad part, because it's okay. No one is perfect. Like that is, like that's so... you know, standard, like we're human, like we all sin.
Nobody is.
When it develops in the church, I've seen it like where they'll try to matchmake and they'll try to push these relationships on you, and that's not good.
Ew.
It's not good.
I hate that so much.
I know that some relationships like that do work out. Yes. But in my case, it didn't. And it was so, I think, too, no one talked about what to do after you get divorced in a Christian marriage. Like, no one talks about that. I was so lost. I literally did the exact opposite of what I did when I was dating for marriage. I was like, I'm not dating for marriage anymore. I'm dating to have fun. And, like, Christian culture tells you, like, no, 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 no. But, like, no one teaches you, like, then how are you supposed to do it? Like, how are you supposed to do it if, like,
it's just so hard
it doesn't
to navigate.
work out?
Like, it's I feel like it's just completely foreign territory, and people are, like, scared to talk about it.
I did have a lot of people in the church that supported me afterwards. Right. So I'm, like, really grateful for that. But I didn't have, like, the mentorship and the discipleship that I had when I was dating my ex-husband, which is so crazy. I felt so lost. Thank God my situation that I'm in now worked out and God blessed it. But that I did not have to walk that road. Like, there are so many things that even now, if I went back and told myself, so many things I would have changed and God would have blessed it.
I think that a lot more young girls are waking up to that, who have just their culture around them
have
tells them
subscribed
this
to
certain
that
thing.
belief system.
Right, and it's just, like, ingrained in them. I have to make this work no matter what. Even if, biblically, I have a reason to not be with this person anymore. And I feel like there is a lot of shame around it. And people are really mean on the internet about it, too. I'm like, are you even a Christian the way you're speaking to this person, but that's another story.
I think that if you also, like, if you've grown up in seeing an abusive relationship, you're naturally going to be drawn to men that have those same toxic traits. So a lot of times, like, you see, divorced parents, they have a child and that really strong marriage unit was never modeled to them. So it breeds another toxic, unhealthy marriage that leads to divorce. So I feel like what we really need are, like, strong, like, good Christian couples who model it for and like that starts in the home. Like that starts with me and Andrew modeling it for our girls. And that's really all we can do, which I think he's so.
Hey, be on my celebrity interview.